Southern Steel versus the West Coast Fever.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be a huge game for us, and obviously to be back in our home court and to show our home crowd that, you know, what we're made of, new uniforms, new colour, new look. I just can't wait to get out there.
Fans going absolutely crazy. It just feels like they're all on top of you. There's so many dressed out in their steel colours. Obviously it's a round one clash, so it's going to be pretty full on being Australia-New Zealand, but it is just insane.
It's been a magnificent performance by this Southern Steel side.
To get, you know, the points on the board straight away would be fantastic, and to beat an Australian team at a home turf at the start of the round would be even better.
Stadium Southland in Invercargill get their first taste of ANZ Netball for 2010. The passionate Southerners, finishing a credible 4th in 2009, get set to take on a young and spirited West Coast Fever. It's Trans-Tasman Netball at its best. Yes, hi there, and thanks for joining us as we get set for Trans-Tasman Netball. Yes, it's the second game of the round. The first was held yesterday in Auckland, where the Mystics had a terrific win over the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Their first ever win against an Australian side in this ANZ competition. Natalie Avellino, did you pick it?
Yes, I did, Annie. And if that game's anything to go by, we are in for a cracker of a season 2010.
We certainly are. And if there are any more records to be breaking tonight, there could be another one. No Australian side has won in Stadium Southland. So that's a pretty proud record for the Southerners and a huge challenge for the Fever to break.
A great record for the Steel, tough for the Fever. 2 days of travel to get here. It's going to be a big ask.
It certainly is. Well, there's 4 more games to be played over the round. Let's check out what's in store for you. Well, as we mentioned, the Mystics notched up their very first win in this ANZ competition, beating the Thunderbirds yesterday afternoon by 3 goals. The Steel and Fever coming up very shortly. Then later tonight, it's an all-Aussie affair where the Firebirds, who have been pretty impressive pre-season, take on the 2008 champs, the Swifts. Then it's back to Monday night netball, Pulse and Tactics in Christchurch, and what will, I'm sure, be the game of the round. The victorious Vixens of 2009 go head-to-head against our very own Magic. But Natalie, a feast of netball to come. But let's look at the Steel side. They have lost 3 pretty key players. You would have to say probably 3 of the greatest servants to sport down here in Southland. Adine Wilson, Donna Wilkins, Megan Hutton. How much of a loss will those girls be?
Huge loss. Just the experience that they've provided, the leadership and the type of netballer that they are. They're quality players to replace. Will they still do it? Liana de Bruin, big recruit. She could be the one for them.
She's come back. She had a baby in November. Danica Wipiti had one in December. Fantastic for these girls to be back on the court.
I don't know how they do it, Annie. I haven't had a baby. You have come back and played. To be ready for top-class netball so soon after a baby, fantastic achievement.
It's hard work. Well, with no Wilson, Wilkins or Hutton, who has the unenviable task of filling these shoes? Here are all the changes to the Steel ranks in 2010.
Netball heartland deep down south, there have been big changes with the loss of Adine Wilson, Donna Wilkins and Megan Hutton. Thing is, the Steel bench was always the strongest in the championship, and the players now given an on-court opportunity will be chomping. Watch for transformed new mums Liana de Bruin and Danica Wipiti, who's guided by new captain Megan Dean and the little general Liana Barrett-Chase.
Yeah, we've picked up a lot of new ones, a lot of youngies, and I think it's going to be an exciting year. There's a few of us that have been around for a while, and I think if we take that step up and lead by example, I think the rest will follow. So I think for us, mate, us young ones that are now old, yeah, it's our time. It's our time to lead from the front. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to 2010.
So a few changes there, Nat, to the Steel, but also the Fever. They've got 5 new faces this year. Only 3 remain from their inaugural 2008 year. Some real babies, though, average age of 22. But on paper, some key players.
Annie, they are a young team, but 4 of these girls have played for the Australian Diamonds. So at such a young age, the experience they've gained from there will be so valuable for their team this year.
OK, well, we're off for a quick break now. Before we do, though, these teams have played twice before, once in 08, once last year. So this is their 3rd encounter tonight. Let's have a look and see what their results have been over the last few years.
The head-to-head is proudly brought to you by Fisher and Paykel.
appreciated what the Steel have put into the game here in Dunedin.
Well, an impressive win for Fever to finish off with an 11-goal margin.
Welcome back as we count down to this Steel Fever match in Invercargill. And Natalia Evelino, we were talking earlier, the Fever, they've had to travel a pretty long way to get here, and we reckon they've got to contend with the 3 Cs. The first being the clock, not the countdown clock, the biological clock, because there's a bit of a time difference. What's the second one?
The cold.
Although it's actually not too bad here in Invercargill, but if you see the colour of some of these Fever girls' legs, they've got some serious tanning going on, so they're obviously coming from some sunshine. The third one, well, I don't think we need to mention it, the crowd. They are boisterous, they are fanatical down here, so they're all things the Fever has to contend with, and I'm sure the coach of the Fever, Jane Searle, has had to factor that into her preparation. Leslie Murdoch caught up with her moments ago.
Well, Jane, welcome back to Stadium Southland. Good to get the long trip out of the way first up.
Yeah, look, it certainly is. I think, if anything, doing the trip fresh first up is pretty good for us. It's a long way. It's a very, very long way, in fact. But no, we're keen to be here, keen to get our season started.
And a bit of interest, who was going to partner Caitlin Bassett in that shooting circle?
Yes, well, we've gone with Leah Shord, who I think you know pretty well. We've got flexibility there, but I think Leah will partner Caitlin very well. She's got the speed and she's a dynamic young player, and she's been training the house down, so she's just as keen to get out there as well.
All the best.
Thanks very much.
So no surprises there with the Fever lineup. They're anchored with 2 big birds at the back, Bassett and Furman.
Very experienced defence end, Furman and captain Joanna Curran, who were the defence end from 2009, as to as a mid-court. Andrea Gilmore, Shea Bolton and Madison Brown at wing attack. And Leah Short, who was a Steel team member last year, now returning, and having Caitlin Bassett back there at goal shooter, will be in a very mobile attack line there. And on the bench, there's some options there. Josie Jans defensively, Janelle Lawson and Emma Beckett, who didn't play last year from a knee reconstruction, but could be a very important defender to come on.
One key player for this Fever side, Madison Brown, there she is. She was a bit of a revelation last year. She played for the Diamonds in their early UK tour in February, had 5 test caps to her name now. She'll be a real dynamo in that midcourt alongside Shea Bolton.
Yeah, look, she's just such a steady, calming player. Both her and Shea Bolton don't seem to get flustered. At 22 and 20, you know, just showing so much experience. But they have come from Victoria, have played together under age groups. They know each other's game inside out.
Well, to the Southern Steel now, and they have 4 new players in their team and a couple of mums, so I'm sure Robin Broughton will be dealing with bibs in more ways than one. She is standing by with Leslie Murdoch.
Well, Robin, first of all, bring us up to date with the injury to Cheryl Scanlon, please.
Yes, I will. She's had a calf injury that's been ongoing, and we thought it was going to be right, but it's not. And so we've brought in our physio, who is Jenny Ferguson, as many people will remember, and hoping that it'll be 4 or 5 weeks that Cheryl will be back with us.
Well, it's great to start this season at home, because it hasn't always been home first up, has it?
Sure is. We're really pleased to be here, really pleased. We can hear the crowd now, and it's just quite a buzz, so that's lovely for us.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
So great to see some familiar faces starting in the Southern Steel side. Megan Den, awesome to see her back at goal attack. Whipper Iti and De Bruyn, as we mentioned, at goal keep.
It is a pretty experienced Steel lineup. De Bruyn at goalkeeper, but Selby Rickett getting the start at goal defence. We haven't seen her in that position. Interesting to see how she'll go. Experienced mid-court Burgess, Frew, Nee Telfer and Barrett Chase there at wing attack. And captaining the team this year, Megan Dean starting in a goal attack with Whippy Edie. Very formidable shooting line for the Steel. And some real good depth on the bench here. Jenny Ferguson was the physio, now on the bench. Now Wipu and Jay Topia, a great deal of depth with some youngies there on the Steel bench.
So Liana De Bruyn, this is her 3rd franchise she'll be playing for tonight in 3 years. She needs a big game. She's got a big ask against another tall timber in Bassett.
Yeah, look, Caitlin Bassett's an outstanding shooter, but Liana De Bruyn, I saw her on the court the other day. She looks amazing, and I think she's pumped and ready to go for this season with the Steel.
It's certainly land of the Giants in this game down at both ends. We are moments away from the start of this game, but speaking of height, Danica Whipper Iti, look, she's got more than that on her side these days. She gave birth to her first child in December, and she is certainly looking forward to the start of this season.
you've got to win. You've got to win to get the points on the board. This competition is a competition that you can't sort of lag behind and then ask for the points later on in the season. So to get, you know, the points on the board straight away would be fantastic, and to beat an Australian team at a home turf at the start of the round would be even better.
Welcome into Fortress here in Invercargill. Yes, we are here at Stadium Southland. The young guns from Perth, the West Coast Fever, has flown south to take on the Southern Steel in their 2010 opener for this ANZ Championship. Almost a full house, and as you can imagine with that, there is plenty to rock. Mayor Tim Shadbolt amongst the interested crowd, and they are full of anticipation. Joining me here in the commentary position, Natalie Avellino, former Australian player, and I guess one of the biggest interest piece for me is Leah Short. Last year she was part of the Steel group. Now she's on court against them.
Yeah, look, Lee didn't get much court time, maybe 2 minutes last year, so great for her to return. She knows what the Steel outfit's all about, but great to see her start in a goal attack. She's a great little player. She's accurate, she's got a lot of speed, a great asset for Bassett to have in front of her.
Yeah, well, someone like Leah Short has been waiting a long time to get a start, only her 4th opportunity to play in the ANZ Championship. She had 2 quarters for the Steel and 1 for the Swifts. Of course, 2008 she was fronting for the Swifts, so only 4 quarters so far, but she gets the start today. There she is on the left of your screen, and it's going to be a beaut for her. And there's a bit of, yeah, very relaxed, aren't they, the Fever? That's Bassett and Lawson. They're going to be teaming up perhaps some stage in the match. Lawson, Janelle Lawson, coming from the Firebirds, but not getting the nod today.
No, she's not. Very young, dynamic mid-court here that we've got with the Fever. Certainly something that I'm looking forward to see Bolton and Madison Brown, the key of the Australian under-21 team. Bassett standing extremely tall amongst them all, and Sue Furman finishing them off at the other end.
Yes, there's the bookends. 1.92 centimetres is Caitlin Bassett, 1.96 is Susan Furman. They're a very tall side. This team from the west coast of Australia, their coach Jane Searle looking pretty relaxed.
I don't know, might be a little bit nervous. I'm not sure.
She did tell me she had played here, so she was looking forward to coaching a team here. Here's the Steel. Robin Broughton's looking more relaxed perhaps than Jane Searle, but she's ready. She's got the team where she wants it for this opener, Natalie Avellino, but it is important to get points early in this championship.
Well, it certainly is, especially when they're only playing an Australian team once. So you really want to make sure you're capitalising on those Trans-Tasman battles and winning those games.
And our umpires today, Liz Boone, Faye Meikle-John, who took over so ably from the match last night, the Mystics up there in Auckland, and the ball carrier today, Casey Green. Yes, Faye Meikle-John just came on very well for Mandy, didn't she, Nottingham, when she had the ball in her face?
She did. She didn't miss a beat at all.
And here we are into this match, opening match in the 2010 championship for both these teams. And Bolton already nearly on the deck for the Fever.
I think we're going to see plenty of high ball into the circles with our tall shooters at either end.
Sideline for us today is the 2003 World Champion Silver Fern captain Anna Stanley, and you're amped up on the side there. There's plenty of a big crowd behind you, and it's very noisy here.
It is very noisy, Leslie. Look, there's 2,500 Southerners here tonight. It's going to be a massive game. Big game for the Steel. Look, they've only lost 3 times at home. The Australian sides have never won down here, so it's a big challenge for the Fever.
And you can see the play already quick down each end, 1 goal apiece. And oh, Barrett Chase looking superb until the late nudge. It was very late.
Great hands from Curran then, came away with the offhand, but Barrett Chase, she's on the ground again.
She's in the action nice and early, Barrett Chase.
Oh, just a miscommunication between Frew into the shooting circle.
Oh, fantastic pass from Curran all the way to Brown in the corner of the midcourt.
Quick ball movement down the court by the Fever.
Already see the precision from Brown on the circle edge.
So they've stolen possession from the Steel. The Fever, they've got the break. It's early stages, first quarter. Brown.
I think a key in this first quarter is how Selby Rickett copes with the movement and the speed of Leah Short. We haven't seen her at goal defence before.
There's a good height mismatch as well, isn't there, Natalie?
Yeah, there is.
Selby Rickett coming into play, and Dean having to come a long way out to get that ball up court for the Steel.
Both teams pretty quick to set up their 3-foot mark, so no zones yet.
Oh, good touch from De Bruyn, just couldn't quite keep it in court. She was hunting it. Looking very fit, Liana De Bruyn.
And very tall.
New mother. So, Bolton with the ball for the Fever and tipped. Good marking from Selby Rickett. The crowd love it. It's a turnover.
That's great contesting from Rickett there. I didn't think she'd get that, but she went up and gave it a good nudge and came away with it.
Having to work hard to get that ball through the midcourt, the Steel.
Whipper-Eaty happy just to remain in the circle and post up.
Dean doing a lot of court running.
Megan Dean often runs kilometres in a game of netball. She's all over the court.
Well, I guess she's a great goal attack that creates that space. And often shooters need that.
A great shot. That centre pass being delivered and the early breaking of the Fever. Barrett Chase, though, already finds Frew, who has Bolton climbing all over her. Good steal back by the Steel. No pun intended. 4-3, early stages. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the first quarter.
Great battle there, Burgess and Brown. Lots of pushing and quick feed in from Brown.
Again, Dean doing a lot of work outside the circle.
Sometimes you wonder if that's, you know, what you want your goal attack to be doing when you've got such speedy mid-quarters in Barrett, Chase and Frew. It's not affecting them at the moment, and she's under the post.
But then I guess, Nat, you could look and say, well, if Dean's outside the circle, it's one-on-one in the circle to Whipper-Eaty, so that's always a pretty good odds that you could get it to her.
Yeah, meat and drink for Caitlin Bassett right under the goal. And again, the Fever, the one goal advantage.
We're seeing a lot of this Aussie one-handed pass, certainly from Joanna Curran as well with those long feeds. It's opening up great space for the Fever. Great vision, Madison Brown.
Yeah, very precision passing, isn't it?
So the game being played at a very fast clip. And just the one turnover so far, it's been costly for the Steel. 2 behind. And they have to meet the Australians with their speed, Natalie Avellino. The Steel.
Yes, they do. And look, they've got a fast mid-court, but it's a one-on-one defence that really works the team down, and the Steel will find that tough with the one-on-one defence.
You wonder if this is where our game's going. You look at both circles, and there, we said it earlier on, the land of the giants, tall, big birds, and then in the middle we've got the real fast, nippy, grunty mid-quarters. So I'm sure we're going to see some great netball.
As long as they've got some nice feeding and can see the height.
Well, I suppose down the other end for the Fever, Leah Short just defies all that, doesn't she? At 1.74, she has the ball now, but she's so mobile in there.
And she's a great player, knowing her from Sydney. She's a great mover, she's very accurate.
Excellent work, Wendy, through all kinds of pressure on Brown that time. Caused the turnover for the Steel. They have to be careful and look after the possession.
And Steel are applying some great pressure on that 3-foot mark, and that was some superb timed work from Frew.
Great tip. Andrea Gilmore. These wing defence positions, they're uncompromising, these players, aren't they? They're at you all the time.
It's certainly a position that is more recognisable over the last few years. There are some quality wing defenders around.
Good finish from Danica Wipiiti there. She had Furman all over her. She does have a slight height advantage, although I think that Wipiiti needs to be remeasured. I'm sure she's taller than what that tells us at the moment. She's sitting at 1.94. Well, Furman's at 1.96, and there doesn't seem to be much in it.
You just saw there Wipiiti getting caught too low on the baseline there. She needs to, if she's going to hold, she needs to hold a bit higher to give herself room for that long pass over.
Big collision there, Barrett Chase, Andrew Gilmore. That's just been a cracker already, and we're only into a few minutes into this first quarter.
Burgess tips it out. Madison Brown. And, of course, contact. There's a big height difference between Burgess and Madison Brown.
You can't really see Leah Short in that circle.
Well, what's impressed me already, though, she's not scared to put the shots up herself. She's feeding the ball, looking for Bassett, but... But we were in a perfect position to see that pass from Brown into Bassett. Then it was a wonderful delivery.
It's just a quick release. It's just a quick release from Brown. And that's what you need, as we've just seen here from Barrett Chase, looking into the circle for Wipiiti.
Again, tipped away Bolton. Desperate to keep it. She couldn't. Rickett ends the ball down.
I don't think Shaw was going to get close to that one.
What's impressed me so far, with just 6 minutes left in this first quarter, is the confidence that both teams are prepared to let that ball go.
Well, they have had a lot of pre-season games. The Steel especially have had 19.
Furman's height that time being the difference.
And it's great that the feeders aren't afraid to give the ball to Short when Bassett's double-teamed.
Terrific pressure applied by the defenders, but Bassett has got it back. And that is excellent netball. She may be the goal shooter, but she did her defensive job superbly for the Fever. Bassett.
Well, with long arms like that, you'd want to hope that she'd have a go at everything that came near her defensively.
Gilmore, she certainly goes for everything as a wing defender.
2 in it, less than 5 to go in the first quarter. Wipiiti strong in the air, needs to be. Bolton and Gilmore. Short coming away back to help that ball through.
The Steel is sitting off in a zone defence, trying to block that speed and that long ball going in.
Good tip. De Bruyn tips the ball away for the Steel.
Fantastic tip from De Bruyn. The pass was a little bit off skew, so she got a hand to it.
Every pass, so much pressure on it.
And because there is so much height in the circles, the feedings just need to be spot on tonight.
Pass number 10 from the Steel in the defence. And there it is, high ball into Wipiiti.
And what what we've seen with the feeding, as soon as they get the ball and release it into their shooters, that's when they're catching the defenders out. So it's just a matter of quick release, just like that.
Another great tip from De Bruyne. And out of court, it's again Steele ball. All that hard work resulted in no goal. The possession still with the home side. Just cannot afford to lose concentration for 1 minute.
As you said earlier, Annie, Danica not giving herself enough room in that baseline. The feeds are certainly there, especially from Dean putting in some nice ball into Whippy-Eddie.
She just needs a bit of room so she can do the backing up.
Again, terrific steals in that circle. The ball just flowing along on the ground. And De Bruyne, she was caught up the court, rushed back, got the ball, and now just unforced errors, team.
Just a breakdown between Barrett Chase and Frew there.
They've had 3 opportunities, the Southern Steel, to come down here.
And that was a great mid-court zone there by the Steel. And they loaded up that mid-court and came away with it.
Seen quite a few turnovers by both teams in this first quarter. 8 to the Fever and 7 to the Steel. But something you'd expect in the first quarter of the first game.
Well, it is being played at a frenetic pace. And they've been patient, the Steel. They haven't been put off by it not coming off when they wanted it to. Dean.
Great shot over the long arms of Susan Furman, taking them to the last 3 goals in a row by the Steel. De Bruyne nearly getting there.
And that was textbook netball from Fever. They're playing with a lot more length, using the range of the court a lot more than the Steel. That was beautiful passing.
They're not afraid to look long, the Fever.
All wide.
As long as it's flat and crisp, the defence will find it tough to pick those ones off.
Advantage offside.
So into the last minute, Dean. You'd pick her in your side, wouldn't you, Megan Dean? She was a revelation in the last 3 games of last year for the Steel.
Yeah, she's been a huge bonus to them, leading the team. A little bit surprised she was, but really enjoying the opportunity and basing herself here in Invercargill this year. Good movement by goal shooter Bassett there, using the fake.
And it's all tied up and absorbing first 15 minutes, not without its errors, but played at a clip.
The players now know how long is on the clock, with the clock counting down the last minute.
That was a super pass from Barrett Chase. Furman's head was down. When it's down, you need to throw it in.
There's the big bomb. There's the quarter-time whistle, and it just about goes in for Whippy-Eddie. But it has been a frenetic first 15 minutes down here at Stadium Southland, and it's the home side who are ahead by 1. They lead the Fever from Perth 12 to 11.
Don't come out too quickly for those intercepts, but it's good coming back in. Keep it nice and tight and meet the one coming in on your side. And you meet the one coming in on your side, all right? That's got to just keep the first, second, third. I think I'll get Danica to move, do a lot more movement.
I think listen, on the centre pass, you got your back to the play. You're watching the play. Like you got to have vision on what's happening around you to see. So listen for the calls. So talk more on the centre pass, because if sometimes you're left standing on the transverse line when the ball's gone, and then you turn around and look where the pass in and the play's moved on. So make sure you have vision on what's happening around you. All right, it's good stuff.
Well, first quarter action, Megan Hutton, who has been an absolute marquee player for the Steel in the past, and sitting up in the grandstand today, Natalie Avellino. She'll do it hard up there, won't she?
She certainly will. She's got a good friend, Kylie Young, there, who was a Sting player many years ago and played with Southland in the NPC. So, yeah, interesting spectators out here today.
Well, the players getting some technical advice, some little refinements from both coaches. It was really interesting hearing what both Robin Broughton and Jane Searle had to say there, but just little technical changes, wasn't it?
Yeah, and one that Anna and I were talking about was Wipiiti coming off that baseline and wanting to get some more movement from her, and happy with De Bruyn going out hunting for the ball.
So time for the second quarter here, remembering the home side. 1 goal ahead after first quarter time, 12-11. Intriguing, absorbing, interesting first 15. Played at a clip. Good use of the bounce pass given the height in that defensive circle for the Fever.
Great to see Dean put up her shot. She's looking to pass off a fair bit, so it's great that she's actually going to the post. Shooting at 5 from 7 from Dean and 8 from 10. But Bassett, 8 from 8 at 100% first quarter, something we're used to seeing of her.
And look at those turnovers, 16 altogether. 9 from the Fever and 7 from Steel. And the intercepts, the Steel have won it. Have they always converted? No.
So the Steel have only scored 4 of the 9 turnovers that the Fever have made. So that will be a percentage, and something that Robin Broughton would like to see increased by the team.
Liana Barrett-Chase is doing a lot of work around the outside of the circle. She's involved in nearly every second pass.
That bounce pass again, useful for the Steel.
Well, I guess it's longer for the tall girls to get down to it, so bounce passes are a real key for these mid-quarters in today's game.
Especially when they're closer to the ground as well. Not going to lift their arms up too high.
It's Barrett-Chase at 1.68. Dean pops the ball high in that outside arm of Wipiiti. Putting in a captain's performance, Megan Dean, so far.
They've come out firing, shooting the last 4 in a row, the Steel. So a great start to start off this second quarter.
Doesn't that just show you the athleticism of Leah Short to be able to actually help tip that? She might only be 1.74, but her elevation, athleticism, superb on that occasion.
The accuracy not there at the moment with Short, only 3 from 5, so she'd need to increase that. As much as we know she's a playmaker and a mover, it's the shooting accuracy that really needs to lift.
But it's certainly there for Bassett, so really all Fever need to do is work it in and get it to Caitlin Bassett.
Robin Broughton not happy with that miscommunication between Dean and Barrett-Chase, 2 of the senior leaders out on court for the Steel, but it happens. It's
again the zone being applied here from the Steel, making it tough for the Fever to break.
Advantage offside. Contact, wing defence. Structure.
It's almost an anti-climax when the Fever score. It's almost silence from this crowd down here in Invercargill.
Especially, I think, too, when the Steel have worked so hard defensively and just been unlucky on getting a few of the turnovers.
2 in it. Steel.
Lovely little top pass from Bolton.
Yeah. And that's what Short's there for. The Fever now have gone 3 in a row.
It's a very tight squeeze in that mid-court. The pressure that the Fever are putting on, but there's been contact inside the circle. Bolton finds Short.
Advantage obstruction.
Look at that one-arm bullet coming from the defence of Fever.
Curran's had a few of those earlier in the first quarter. Great
De
touch.
Bruyn. Great timing, wasn't it?
Good vision. She was going back, but then saw the ball was being released slow and stuck her hand up.
Well, she's having a boomer. The new recruit for the Steel, Liana de Bruyn.
Well, of course, she started her netball down here in Invercargill in 2001 for Sting, so I guess it's a bit of payback coming home.
Yeah.
And now a great touch at the other end by Furman with her long arms. So it's a battle of the goalkeepers at the moment.
Advantage contact. Contact centre. Dirty pass. Contact goal defence. Short pass.
Great shot there. You could see the movement in the circle. But will the fitness be the key for these teams? There's a lot of running. It has been so fast.
Well, I know the Steel are training, doing fitness work every day for an hour to an hour and a half. So I think their fitness work, and they feel that they've improved their fitness this year, and they've had a lot of pre-season games.
And the Fever only arriving into Invercargill last night, so they've had a short turnaround from getting off their flight to getting on the court here.
But for them, it's like they're playing at lunchtime because of the 5-hour time difference. So they'll be buzzing and humming.
Great contesting, Selby Rickett.
She's having a good go. It's whether she can get through the full game at goal defence.
Good tip. Selby Rickett and De Bruyn teaming up.
It's just this area, they've just lost their way a little bit, the Steel. Just thrown the ball away on an odd occasion.
That's where you really miss Cheryl Scanlon. She's obviously injured with the Steel, but you really get that drive when she's at goal defence, don't you, out of the defence end. Selby Rickett doesn't quite have that.
No, and Scanlon is so calm, and she's a general. She's a great leader. And the players have faith in her and know that any ball that they can put up, she'll be there for you.
Well, there's only one way that you can learn those skills, and that's by doing it. And Megan Hutton will be looking at Te Hiunga Reo Selby Rickett and saying, well, she's started well, the goal defence for the Steel.
Well, she's been sitting on the bench for a very long time, Selby Rickett, in the Sting days, and had a few quarters here and there last year. So it's her opportunity now to stand up and show what she can do.
Look at that bullet pass. It is like a tracer bullet coming through that court, and Bolton guilty of just underpassing the ball. And the Steel pick up the mistake.
It's beautiful play by the Fever. But it's just unfortunate placement of that pass.
Jay Bolton
played most of her season last year with a dislocated shoulder. It often popped a few times out in every game, so she's had surgery, so that will give her huge confidence this year to play knowing that she's got a shoulder intact.
Yeah, no pain. How painful will that be? Bassett doing the job for the Fever. 3 in it, the Steel 19 ahead, Fever 16.
Bassett still shooting at 100%, 13 from 13. Not much there, though, in the shooting percentage between both teams. Whippy Eddie at the other end, 12 from 14. So it's certainly the goal shooters who are putting up the majority of the shots.
Well, Bolton there climbing all over Barrett Chase. Didn't stop Barrett Chase from keeping the ball, but she gets the whistle. And again, the arms all around Wendy Frew.
Oh, that was a great contest. A shame we couldn't have the toss-up because both...
Oh, great outside arm from Bolton offside. Gee, that's almost like a rubber, the way they're able to get their limbs around the players.
I just think the position of the wing defence has just improved so much over the last few years. So much more agile.
It's such a hard position to play, isn't it?
Good contest.
So these girls know that they're actually not allowed to go in the circle.
Yeah. Well, they're giving everything. Every pass has got so much pressure on it. Short.
Bassett strong there under the post.
Liana de Bruin, just amazing that her and Danica Wipieshi, who can have children 5 months ago and be out playing this level of sport, it is just truly amazing.
Yep, speaking from experience, it is hard work, and it's credit to these two girls. They've obviously done the work in their off-season. They're probably still breastfeeding.
Oh, my mother's generation, they'd just be exiting the nursing home.
They'll probably be feeding after the game.
Well, I wouldn't know, sorry, girls.
I think one thing's for sure, when you do have children, you end up enjoying your sport a bit more as well.
It's all about having a balance, isn't it?
Great pass, short. I could see that from where I was sitting, and that was a perfect feed. Great ball.
Well captured.
We say this Fever side's a young team, but 5 of these girls are in the Australian Diamond squad. And Andrea Gilmore has been invited to train with them on a number of occasions. So they're quite young, but there's some experience coming through for these young girls.
And 4 of them were the members of the winning Australian under-21 side as well.
So, yeah, we say they're young, but they've certainly got the experience.
They've got the pedigree.
Great for the future of netball in Australia.
Brown feeds off to Short.
We don't quite like that so much, Nat.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. But it's just so, especially so young at 22 and 20 and, you know, representing Australia. Great hands there, Selby Rickett. She's doing the work in the circle. It's just down the court that they're lacking the steal. Like we said earlier, missing that Cheryl Scanlon.
And you have seeing there Barrett Chase having to come all the way up. Just need a little bit more short, sharper movements, I think. Everyone's getting caught running from one end of the mid-court to the other.
Look at that athleticism from Barrett Chase. She just had nowhere to pass and able to deliver the ball in the air.
It's great to see Wendy Frew, knee Telfer, married on New Year's Eve, getting a starting position and playing in her preferred position at centre.
I certainly like these two this way round. Barrett Chase at wing attack and Frew at centre. I think she's got a lot to offer. Frew at centre. She is a defensive player. Obviously, she played a lot of her game at wing defence initially.
And she's just been there and thereabouts for the steal for so long. And when you've got players like Dean Wilson in your side, it's tough to get on ahead of her. So it's great that she's got this opportunity through.
Yeah, good finish. Leah Short finishing off that, calmly slotting it. So Erica Burgess, is it just a time or is there a bit of blood there on the finger, on the knee?
Can't quite see blood. I think she's wondering what.
On the ankle, the left.
Yep,
or Achilles, is it?
She was stretching at quarter time on the chair, I noticed, so she might have tight calves.
So when it's down there, you don't need to go flat out.
Of course, the change in the rules for 2010 championship is the coaches can come on for injuries. Seems only a sensible thing to do, really.
You can hear there Robin Borton talking about how she wants it down the attack end to slow it down. It doesn't have to be flat tack. So the last 3 minutes, she said she wants a bit of composure.
Both Prue and Erica, be ready for the reset, please. That's too much turnover ball.
You certainly know what your job is. The instructions are firm. A lot at stake. Opening championship points up for grabs for the Fever. The first time to win down here at Stadium Southland. No other Australian team has done that. And the Steel get their campaign off to the best possible start to get those win points. So Burgess now has taken the time. A bit of a worry though if it's an Achilles. There are niggly things. So time on.
And when you're chasing around a Madison Brown.
Hard work.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes 40 to go in this quarter, the second quarter down here in Invercargill. And the home side, 21.
Gee,
And the Fever now at 20, so only the one goal in it. 21-20 in favour of the Steel. 2 minutes left in the half.
As Robin Broughton asked for, nice control in this attack line, being nice and patient.
Good space, Liana Barrett-Chase. And the big elbow from Furman gets pulled. Brown just bolted out of nowhere for that pass. Oh, well read. Shelby Rickett. She's so calm and often surprised that she can get a turnover.
Well, De Bruyn set that up. She came out, gave the Fever a bit of a scare, and Selby Rickett picked up the intercept.
Shea Bolton nearly joining us in the commentary position, trying to keep that ball in court. Strong hands from Dean. Well, both players moving away from through.
Dean again doing a lot of work on the outside. Curran and Furman sitting back on Whippy Eddie.
Yeah, Curran caught just trying to intercept the pass.
Furman's just been getting pulled up a little bit. She's on 12 penalties now, so something she needs to address. Just allowing the Steel to get some easy shots under the post.
That was superb work from Barrett-Chase, attacking onto the circle edge.
And that pass just cut the defence to shreds. And that's out of court from the Fever. So a couple of unforced errors finishing this half. The pressure the Steel have exerted, and they are carrying out Coach Robin Broughton's instructions to the letter. Less than 10 seconds.
Crowd,
4 goals the difference.
Crowd urging them to get this last one.
There it is, the halftime whistle. And the Steel have taken the advantage going into the third quarter. They lead at halftime by 24-20 down here in Invercargill. We're here at Stadium South, and you could be forgiven. We're in the big top of the Young Hu Chinese Circus. We're seeing some wonderful acrobatics from this young athlete, and poise and grace and athleticism, and that's certainly what we have seen in the first half of this match here between the Fever and the Steel. Some terrific netball from Madison Brown. She's been in stunning form, Natalie Avellino.
She has, hasn't she, Leslie? Just her feeding, getting around quickly, letting that ball go. She's got great vision. And when you release that ball quickly, it just puts the defenders unable to get around quickly to get that ball.
And, of course, defensively, going from one arm to the other, and we've seen plenty of that from the Australians, haven't we, in their defence? Joanna Curran.
And those long balls that Joanna Curran's giving from the goal third, nearly into the other goal third, with that one very predictable one-arm Australian throw.
And all the poise and balance that you need as a defender, which is what we're being treated to here, we've seen from Liana De Bruyn.
Well, Liana De Bruyn, I don't know if she's that flexible, but she's certainly been getting in there, getting some great touches, some strong rebounds, and she's up against a pretty dominant shooter in this competition.
You should be happy with her first half performance, but it's a 60-minute game, and the young athlete here getting all the deserved applause here at Stadium Southland. They're mesmerised. We've been mesmerised. And it's all in front of both teams who are going to get the win points in this team.
And like the balance we're going to see here, it's the balance and the steadiness that both teams need to come out when they're out on that court for this third quarter, the championship quarter, as they say. The strength and fitness that this person is showing is also required by these players as well.
And it's confidence in being an entertainer as well. So it is Stadium Southland. We're all set. Don't go away, folks. We have got the second half between the Steel and the Fever here, all set to go. Be back in a moment. Stadium Southland here in Invercargill. It is the home side who are ahead of the visitors from Perth. The West Coast Fever, 24-20 is the score, and joining us from the sideline is the coach of the Southern Steel, Robin Broughton. Robin, you'd be impressed with the tempo and the hype in that first half?
Yes, I was. I thought we probably went a bit too fast. I've just said to them to have more patience. Everything doesn't have to go on the first second. They might think it does, but they need to be careful with it.
And Robin, your new defensive combination, De Bruyne, Selby Rickett, happy with what they're putting out there at the moment?
Oh yes, I am. We've been trying to work on this combination, and I think it's starting to look very sharp tonight. And they're switching quite well, and doing the things that take a while for players to get to know one another, and it's sort of starting to gel.
Thanks, Robin. All the best for the second half of the game.
Thank you.
So we are all set for the second half. It is the Steel with the ball through to Dean, the 4-goal advantage. And the honest thoughts of Southern Steel coach Robin Broughton. And Dean starts perfectly for the Steel.
5-goal lead. They've been looking to build on this lead, really dominate this third quarter. Still, Caitlin Bassett hasn't missed a goal, shooting 17 from 17.
Through in the action again, having a little tip. And we've seen a few of those, just few miscommunications in that attacking circle for the Steel.
I think at times with E.T. changes her angle at the last minute, and it looked like she did that then, so a bit of a breakdown in communication.
Plenty of talk out on court from both teams. When the Fever have the ball, it's very quiet. We are here down in the Fortress. Oh, good touch again. De Bruyne reading it superbly.
She's having a fine game, and as you heard from Broughton, backed up well by Selby Rickett in at goal defence.
A good turnover for the Fever in their defensive end. Joining us now to get the insights from the Fever camp, Jane Searle. Jane, that first half, what did you make of that first 30 minutes for your side?
Oh, well, they certainly come out of the blocks ready to play, and I think we're looking a bit sluggish, and but I'm just going to give it a bit more time to see if we can snap into action.
Jane, you've made no changes in this second half. Is there an area you think you're looking for something where a change may be made?
Well, certainly the changes have gone through my mind, and there are, we have got a flexible team. But as I said, I just think that, give it this quarter to see how we go, and I think that we'll come out a much stronger team this quarter.
Thanks, Jane.
So what will those changes be? You watching from home, what changes would you make? Natalie Evelina, what changes would you make?
Certainly a big contrast from yesterday's game where there were changes galore from the first quarter. We've seen no changes. I suppose the change that we could look at could be a Janelle Lawson coming on at goal attack. I just think they possibly need to lift their shooting accuracy. Short's providing great movement out there. Janelle, as we see there on camera there now. And defensively, I think the defence end's doing a good job. There's no one really height-wise that could match Whippy Eddy. Josie Jantz could be an option there for them.
Yeah, I think Lawson, obviously she's an ex-Firebirds girl. She might come in and just add a different dynamic, take the pressure off Bassett a bit, and so they can get their volume of shots up.
And also add a bit of height because the mid-court is quite short. So with Short, Brown and Bolton in the mid-court, it's quite little. So having a Lawson there.
Little Danica with E.T.'s child.
Kalani May with partner Joe.
She's got a head full of hair.
So's Mum. first netball game, and very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Not obviously put off by the noise. Thunderous applause when her mum puts one through the hoop.
Not showing too much emotion today with Pieta. I think she's just probably happy to be out there on court.
And a good finish from Short. Desperate to get as much game time in ANZ Championship as she can. This is her third team that she's played for. Swift, Steel, and now the Fever.
There's been 6 players in this year's ANZ competition that have all played in 3 different franchises. So players these days are willing to mix it up and move around.
And there's lots of opportunities, I suppose, being available in various areas. Players retiring. And a lot of younger players coming through as we see Gilmore with the timeout.
Did you get something in the eye? I know.
Oh, an elbow.
Yes, into the right eye, wasn't it?
She might have a nice black eye in the morning.
But that's how close it is, Anna. It would have been right in front of you.
Yep, and again, you know, we talked about Gilmore earlier on. She contests everything around the circle edge. She'll give it a go, and she went for that one, and unfortunately came off second best.
She's not afraid to have a contest, to go for a contest though, Andrea Gilmore.
And you need wing defences in your team that are prepared to do that, because wing attack's such a crucial position down that attacking end, and if you've got a wing defender on you that's pushing you all the way and put the pressure on, it stops the flow.
Accidental elbow from Barrett Chase on Andrea Gilmore.
And a great contest. She only just went offside towards, you know, just taking that landing, and not by a lot. So she's very agile.
We might have a change here. Emma Beckett coming on at wing defence. She didn't play last year. She did her knee pre-season in 2009. So another girl coming back from knee surgery.
She certainly hasn't, they haven't lost anything by bringing on Beckett in 2008. She was very strong for them. So a quality to play to have as a backup. And she's just as nuggety, just as strong as what Gilmore is.
And I tell you what, she was in the starting blocks ready to get out on court too. She was out there in a flash when it became obvious that she was going to get some game time. Gilmore there, look, you can see it's already starting to swell. Nice bruise. And Emma Beckett.
Got her on a soft part of the eye there, hasn't it?
Just as well it wasn't a little bit higher. And I guess that's why our eyes are in sockets, isn't it, thankfully? Fever with the ball through the midcourt. Oh, and just Selby Rickett there, a bit off the ball. That 4-goal advantage that the Steel had at half-time, whittled away by 2. Just can't get distracted when the injuries occur. Oh, and both players hunting in defence for the Fever.
Quite composed there, Dean.
It's so clever, isn't it, to be looking as though you're going to pass your balk, and that combination with Whippy.
Great work again there, Short. Using the fact we're struggling. Had a quick second look in that circle and found Bassett.
You almost get the impression that maybe Leah Short's had the finger pointed at her by James Searle. She's really gone out there on court, and she's putting her game out there.
Yeah, she certainly has stepped up in this third quarter.
Whippy always puts one layup in the game.
Important possession for the Fever.
Still setting up a zone here, really blocking up that centre third, but those long one-handed passes, and this time from Furman. Gets through that zone defence.
And great finish too, but that work that Madison Brown and Bolton did off the ball.
Fantastic vision from Brown.
Great drive from Short to get to Brown to have a go.
Oh, I can tell you that the crowd are really starting to pump now. They know that the third quarter is the crucial quarter. They want their Steel girls to win this one. It makes the fourth that much easier.
A good tip away by Whippy. means possession is still with the home side. Bolton and through to the right, real scrap out there, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure what that one was. I don't think the umpire, Faye Middlejohn, knew what she was going to call there.
And they're not quite sure, the crowd, what's going to happen here. 29-28. And that lateral pass that we've seen from the Fever all game.
Yeah. Oh, Selby Rickett nearly had that.
Something we saw her do a lot last year when she came on.
And her patience, Jane Searle's patience, is paying off, making those changes, just waiting to see what happened in the third quarter. And they've got the ball again, the Fever. They've reduced the deficit to 0, and they have possession and opportunity.
That was
thrown away.
That was a fantastic offhand intercept from Beckett before, but they lost it.
Offside, Caitlin Bassett.
Yeah, it's been advanced.
Tough call, really. Still want to score off this turnover. The Fever have had 18 turnovers, still scoring only 10 of them. So this is one that they want to. In return, though, the Steel, 15 turnovers, and the Fever only scoring 6. So the turnovers are an important part of the game, and coaches talk a lot about them and wanting to convert them, the opposition's turnover.
Now, Susan Furman has really turned up the soldering iron in that defence, because she is putting all kinds of pressure now on Whippiiti.
Fever showing good patience in the mid-court there. Steele are putting a mid-court zone on. If we can get into this woman, pretty much guarantee a goal.
Still 100%, 24 from 24 from Bassett.
She was the third most prolific scorer in the ANZ competition last year, so you know she can put the ball up when you get it to her.
And when you've got Brown, Bolton and Short now feeding her.
It's a classy attacking line, isn't it?
They've certainly stepped it up now, the Fever. That little timeout has obviously helped them.
Scored the last 3, the West Coast Fever. They've reduced that deficit that was 4, and now they're ahead by 2. It's good patience from Dean that time, but well read in the defence. She's got it back, Whippiiti, guarding the ball with a life.
Oh, it's just arms everywhere in that circle.
And they're long ones at that. Oh, that's an interesting call. Not wholly within the circle. And then the pass wasn't actually taken in the circle. I think if the centre's in that circle with 1 foot, at least they're starting the game from there. A few rules have been tweaked this year. Maybe something they can look at. Some of the simple ones.
Well, if you're a Fever supporter, you might think that's a bit of justice there. They hold the lead by 1.
Great vision from Beckett. Look at those lines the Fever are playing, not prepared to shoot it through the gap, right through the middle of the court. Good structure.
And the ease in which the Fever are able to bring that ball through the mid-court as opposed to the Steel.
You'd think to wonder who is the most experienced team out on court.
The Fever by 2, and you see we've heard so much about Bolton and Brown in that midcourt and how quick they are, and we've seen it just electrify.
Look at that third quarter score, Fever 12 to the Steel 5. So they have been struggling to find some rhythm in the attack line. I think Brown and Bolton, they've had the opportunity to play with each other for so many years, coming from Victoria and playing underage group. They know each other inside out. and they're not panicking, and they're working hard to find each other, and if neither of them's available, they're going back, or they've got the great vision and they're looking for Bassett just like that under the post.
Yeah, great patience from Brown. This is where both teams will be starting to feel the lungs a bit. You know, first game in, ANZ competition's always a bit rough. You haven't quite got that match fitness.
It's the concentration levels too. At this pace, every pass is being contested. She'll get another chance, Megan Dean. Furman called. Almost too much to watch for Robin Broughton. And again, using that width.
And such crisp, flat passes.
1, 2, 3, goal.
They're just finding great speed around that court in the attack line. Maybe it's a time for Robin Broughton to look at changing the defence end. Try something different and mix it up.
Bounce pass didn't work that time.
Good away hand again from Emma Beckett at wing defence.
Yeah, deliberate offside there called from Prue, so it'll be a free pass or shot inside the circle.
They had a 5-goal lead at one stage in that beginning of the third quarter, the Steel.
And of course, when you've got that momentum, things just turn your way. That was a great shot. It was a long way out from Leah Short.
And she's really stepped up this third quarter. She's needed to dominate.
Brown was too quick for herself. Drop that ball on the top of the circle edge.
Bit late there, Bolton.
Moving off.
Good touch there by Furman and good chase from Beckett.
Yeah, there was only one player in it, and it was the Fever player. They're hungrier for the ball.
They certainly look the more passionate side at this stage.
They do. The 50-50 ball is being owned by the West Coast Fever. Look at that intensity.
They are sharp, they are crisp. They seem to be finding the positioning and the space available.
And Selby Rickett comes up with a lifesaver for the Steel.
And this is where they just need to show the patience that Robin Broughton was talking about earlier. Really treasure the possession they get.
To get that ball up, less than 5 seconds in the match, and the crowd are telling them.
Obviously, Megan Dean didn't know the time that was left.
And that is three-quarter time. And it is the visitors who have gone ahead a powerful third quarter. They lead the home side by 35-32.
You contest a lot more, so just be a lot stronger on the ball because they let you contest a lot more down that end.
Great defence on the line. When the ball swings, be on the ball side. Don't reach across, right? Make her go over you. Okay.
Because it's this end that she gives a good performance. But go out of that circle, out of it, and give her more room. Because she just wants to put it in that way, so we've got to change it. Okay, we've got to change up. Just get from underneath the post to go out so that we can spread it out.
Yes, we're all set for what's going to be a fascinating last 15. Look at some of those stats, Natalie Avellino, and those goal percentage favouring the Fever at this stage.
That's right. Both put up the same amount of attempts. The intercepts are still have been getting the intercepts but not converting them. The rebounds pretty even, and the turnovers, considering it was quite high, 9-7 in the first quarter, not too bad with 3/4 of the game gone. But the shooting here, Bassett, look at that, 28 from 29. Leah Short needs to lift up in this quarter, as does Megan Dean, 11 from 15.
Well, interesting seeing the demeanour in the camps at that little quarter break, and the intensity in the Fever and the calmness in the Steel. The question is, have the Steel got another shot to fire? We've seen plenty from the Fever in that third quarter, what have the Steel got to reduce that deficit? Can the Fever create some ANZ Championship history by being the first Australian side to win down here?
Yes, even in Dunedin, the Steel haven't lost to an Australian team, so...
Maybe it's the year that records are breaking. Mystics beat the Thunderbirds yesterday in Auckland for the first time.
Oh, Annie, are you putting a prediction then that the Magic could beat the Vixens tomorrow in Melbourne?
You never know, Nat. With no Pauletto on the court, they could do it.
We've just seen Whippy Eddie just fade a little bit, I think, in the end of that, or halfway through the third quarter, and again's just missed another crucial goal.
This is not the same strength in the air that we saw on that opening 15 minutes from her.
Great vision again, Brown.
In the Steel bench, Jenny Ferguson there mid-screen. The physio, meant to be for the season, but coming in for the injured Cheryl Scanlon.
Well, she would have played in many close encounters in her previous netball history, so you could always throw a Jenny Ferguson on and you know you'll get 120% with her.
And she's a pretty fit Jenny. She doesn't mind running and biking and tramping, so getting out on court wouldn't be a problem for her. But in the circle, if they were to look for a change, now Whippy's been played a fair bit during pre-season, and Jaytopia, although has had a slight back injury, could be another option.
Great movement from Dean.
And some nice bounce passes, especially that one from Liana Barrett-Chase. Skimmed it across the top to Frew.
So both shooters there now with Jaytopia. Flatmates as well. So they're good buddies on and off the court.
Advantage offside.
Good hands from Brown.
Showing some great skills, Madison Brown.
Anna, you would have seen it as we have over here, that the intensity when the Fever have the ball is just seems to be more energy and more movement from them.
Well, you never know with 12 more minutes to go, and the Steel, remember, have got the crowd here on their side, so they could still lift. But yeah, you're right, they tend to have that urgency and just have a little bit more structure in their game, the Fever. Look like they're playing a bit more cohesively.
Could the 19 games of pre-season be too much for the Steel?
The Fever with the big movers and shakers from last year, weren't they? They finished 9th in 2008, 7th last year, so they're cribbing up. And they've got the creme de la creme of the young netballers coming through Australia.
Oh, that was a tough call there, Joanna Curran, working hard there for the Fever.
Oh, umpire didn't see that. She had her big fat foot out of court.
It was interesting.
Well, the crowd were obviously happy. If it was the other way around, we would have known about it. And this is where the crowd comes into play when the Steel are on defence and they know they need that turnover. The crowd just gets so involved.
And you just never know how this young Fever side will react. There you go, Liana DeBrain. Her experience, vital down that end.
Both DeBrain and Bassett are playing superbly for their team, even though they're against each other. Bassett just finding great positioning and putting up accuracy in her shots, and DeBrain getting some great tips.
It's often the way, isn't it? Yesterday we saw Althea Byfield had an outstanding game, but so did Borrego, the Thunderbirds goal shooter. So it's possible for both, you know, partners to have a strong game.
Well, Megan Dean is really showing why she's been named captain. I mean, that was outstanding gamesmanship from her and her ability to read the game.
The crowd's getting a little bit frustrated. They're wanting Dean or Whippy to take the shot when they're so close in that circle.
And the way that Dean guards the ball like that. And look at the height difference between Furman and Dean. It's a great shot there.
Steel have scored the last three, so they really know how to put it on. And the crowd again getting into it for them. Do you think they still won that ball?
I think they did.
There's really no other stadium where you can really play under this sort of pressure with the crowd. I mean, it's so loud and boisterous, so it's certainly an experience for the Fever just to come down here and experience it.
And so close to the centre court as well, and I think it gives you that real amphitheatre feel. More intimidating for the visitors.
And you can understand why no Australian team has won a game here. They don't get the crowds like this in Australia like they do here, in Invercargill especially.
Just like that. Dare I say it?
Tough call there.
Dare I say it, ladies? Extra time. We could be seeing our first one.
Well, with the Steel scoring the last 5 goals and with 8 minutes to go, I think the Steel could be on a bit of a run here.
Joanna Curran was just so fast in sensing that little touch away.
A lovely touch from Bolton into Bassett then. She changed the pace of the pass.
But just so calm on the feeding, they didn't panic at all.
But how quickly it does change, it's just, you cannot predict.
Great effort, Beckett. Don't know if it was a deliberate offside. She's really contesting the ball. Some nervous Steel players on the bench. You would think the experience of the Steel players would get them through, but I think the Fever are playing well above their years.
That's the pace and the intensity, and they're just cutting the defence to shreds, especially through that mid-court.
And you look at a lot of these teams in this competition, on any given day, any team can win. So it just shows the nature of it, how competitive it is.
But the energy that the Fever brought, especially in that third quarter, they were under strict instructions. They delivered. They took the game to another era.
Well, that was a tough one there for Bassett.
What not to do, never wait for the umpire's call.
And I think too, because of the player movement that we've seen, that the teams are evening out a lot more. The Fever, not a lot of change from last year's starting lineup. We only saw one with Leah Short, now Beckett coming on. So it shows if you can have a settled team as well, build it one year and then the next year, you could be a real force.
Just the one in it. And they had possession. The Steel are one behind. Gee, I thought that time Furman got a big nudge in the back from Whippy Easy. And it's all tied up. The speed that Madison Brown gets through that mid-court.
Oh, confident shot from Scholl.
Brave, isn't it?
She's the second half, she's really stepped up. She's obviously used to the crowd, knows what they can deliver.
Well, that was lucky.
Yeah, good defence from Bolton around the circle edge there.
The crowd yelling out to Whippy Easy to shoot it.
She hasn't moved too far from under the post, to be fair, has she?
No, she hasn't. You know, and that's where you need to look at. You're in a shooting position. Do you take the shot or do you pass it out?
Beckett doing a grand job of marking Wendy Fruit.
She's replaced Gilmore pretty well, Beckett. She's come on and been contesting everything around that circle edge.
The match hasn't missed a beat from her introduction. In fact, she's probably helped step it up. together on 42. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the match. The crowd asking for more from the home team.
And this is where it gets tough because the players will not be able to hear themselves because the crowd is so loud down here. So it's about showing good body angles. Oh, stepping.
Bassett, I think, has had a few tough calls.
It's a big call.
Yeah, she was held back a little bit, I think, too, going for that ball. So obviously lost her balance. And a little bit frustrated too now with the calls going against her.
The penalty count creeping higher, Natalie Avellino.
75 to the Fever, 52 to the Steel. And a lot of it has been down this defensive end.
Oh, I don't think that was a step.
Both Curran and Furman heavily penalised. 22 for Curran, 24 for Furman. And it's crucial in the tightness of this game in this last quarter that they can adjust and not give away too many penalties.
Furman called for contact in that circle. Whippy usually clapping the umpire's decision there. Less than 3 minutes in this match down here in Invercargill. And it's the home side. And
it was great vision by Brown. It was there, just not hard enough, but great reading from Selby Rickett. She knows how to pull off those crucial intercepts, Selby Rickett.
well, another call for the Steel. You look at James Searle's coach on the Fever bench and you go back to that take by Megan Dean on the far side of the court, Anna Stanley, and it turned the game.
Absolutely. And look, the stomping behind me, I can hardly hear you, Leslie.
I think the Fever think they're getting a bit hard done by here with some of these calls.
Great shooting, Leah Short under pressure. Andrea Gilmore exhorting from the sideline. And there's one in it. It's the home side. They had possession. They're ahead by one. Chase has the ball. And Dean's free over the far side. Pop ball into Whippiiti. Josie Jant wanting more from the Fever. Big hard pass into Bassett. She loses the ball. Who has it? Bassett.
A minute 10 to go.
Almost
still
silence.
Time. Well, time is about to be called here. Emma Beckett with 1 minute to go. Huge call.
Got the call from the bench. The crowd aren't happy.
1 minute. What do you do?
This is what you do. So the players in huddles, the Steel, and Jane Searle now calling her team over.
Okay, now we're right in this game. We want to get another. We want to get even in this end of the quarter. So we want one turnover, right, and we want to score off it. Your girl is too far. You're too far off her. I want you to play one-on-one on your player. Don't let her get the ball. So every time now we're in denial netball, right? We must be in denial netball. They cannot get the ball. So we want to just come on, get it, and nice and steady when we get it, right? So come right off her. Don't let her get it though, right? One rebound, one turnover. That's all we want, right? They've got to be in the space for that ball to be let go. That's been half the problem.
Very animated, the Steel were, weren't they?
Torrid times from both coaches.
Tough game. First up, you know, so close. You'd prefer to lose by 10 in the first game than to lose by 1.
And the edicts have been delivered, haven't they? Deny the D word from both coaches. 1 turnover, says Jane Searle from the Fever. And Dean and Barrett Chase played so much netball. 45 seconds left in this match. They lead by 2, the Steel. 30 seconds. Bolton has the ball for the Fever. Ball out of court. The crowd knew it.
And I suppose that's what it comes down to, the experience against the young girls who need more of these games to be put in these situations to feel the pressure.
And just playing the ball around now, the Steel. Nearly full time. And Whoopie-Eaty, we've got a problem with Whoopie-Eaty. She's gone down on her knee. The win for the Steel may have come at a cost.
And partner Joe looking up without baby Kalani, so I hope she's okay as well.
It's a terribly sad finish to what has been a stunning match here in Invercargill. It's the Steel who have taken the match by 2, 46-44.
Coach Jane Searle having a few words to the umpires. Some really close calls, Leslie, in those last couple of minutes against the Fever.
The game has been played at such a fast clip. There were going to be situations where there were going to be some calls that people didn't like. You've got to play the game. So let's have a look back and see what did happen with Danica Whoopie-Eaty. Whistle had gone. And right at the end of the game, it was almost innocuous.
Yeah, she just stepped, really.
Something went.
Yep, and, you know, hopefully it's nothing too serious, but when a knee injury's done, you know, it's just by taking a step. So partner Joe there, very concerned about Danica.
As you would be too. And the interesting thing is when she went down, the rest of the crowd were celebrating the victory, and it was the Fever players that drew the attention of the Medicos to go over to Danica Whoopie-Eaty.
So that's great work. Neil Hamilton, who was as a sting physio, saw it straight away and rushed out to her on court. But there was no malice, no heavy contact in that at all.
No.
So obviously it shows the strength of Danica. Maybe's not there, you know. She has had a baby in December.
You know, chemically. So let's go sideline anyway. We need to get some reaction. It has been a fabulous win. Let's not forget this. The Steel have taken this game by 2. And sideline is Anna Stanley with the Steel captain, Megan Dean.
Well, Megan, you certainly like to keep the crowd on their toes. That last quarter, what was it that made you come back and win by 2 goals?
Well, I think more the question is what made us drop down after half-time. But I think we got a bit hesitant in the 3rd quarter. But then in the last quarter really stepped up and started to play to each other and really have confidence in each other and let the ball go and just play our normal game. So
a couple of star performers. Selby Rickett, we don't normally see her out at goal defence, but you must be happy with how she performed for the whole 4 quarters here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. She's been going great in the pre-season there. She's just a bit unsure on where to go on court, but she's been building on that through the pre-season and she had a great game tonight.
And a couple of the new mums, Liana De Bruin was in fine form at goalkeep. Danica Whoopie-Eaty went down at the end there. I hope it's not her knee.
Yeah, I passed it too, so I feel a bit bad. But yeah, both of those guys have worked really hard to get back on court for the first round, and they're just going great guns so far.
Well, all the very best for next week. Congratulations, fantastic win.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, so Danica Whoopie-Eaty being assisted from the court down here at Invercargill. A tragic finish to the match, just as the full-time hooter went, and down went Whoopie-Eaty, and the left knee causing the big problem there. So let's go sideline, though, and find out from the Fever captain, Joanna Curran. She's now with sideline with Anna Stanley.
Oh, Joanna, commiserations. Playing in Invercargill and Stadium Southland, tell me about how hard it is with this crowd going for the Steel.
Yeah, the crowd here is always, you know, very loud and it's really parochial. So I guess it was important for us to come out here and try and, I guess, use their noise for us, pretend it was for us. So, yeah, they were great today and I think they really helped get the Steel over the line.
Now, you were up at three-quarter time. What was the difference in that last quarter? Because it was going in ebbs and flows, but in the end it was Steel that came out on top. What was the difference?
I think, we've just got to learn in pressure situations to really keep composed, and when we get the ball in a turnover, really treasure the possession. And I think that's something that we need to learn for future games if we're, going to be in situations like that, just to be able to win the game.
Well, some positives. You've got some extremely young players in your team, probably the youngest in the competition. Madison Brown was outstanding at wing attack.
Yeah, Maddie is always outstanding for us. She has the highest workload, I think, for a wing attack. She is always dodging and driving and creating moves for the goalers down that end, and really good at feeding Caitlin and Leah tonight. So, yeah, she played really well.
Well, hard luck tonight. Look, you're still a classy outfit, and we look forward to seeing some good things from the Fever this year.
Thanks very much, and thanks to the Steel crowd.
Oh, nice touch there from Joanna Curran. She is the captain of the Fever, thanking the amazing crowd here. They got their team home, there's no doubt about it. The Southern Steel have kept their winning record intact down here. They've beaten the West Coast Fever 46-44.
Welcome back to Stadium Southland, where the Southern Steel have just pipped the West Coast Fever by 2 goals. Natalie Avellino, that was a massive last few minutes from the Steel.
It was, wasn't it? And, no wonder no Australian team has won in New Zealand in Invercargill. The Steel were just on fire, and interesting maybe, James Hill wasn't too happy at the end of the game. 30 penalties to the Fever to 6 in the Steel in that last quarter.
Well, the crowd certainly would have lifted the Steel, but if we look at our player picks of the game, our Fisher and Paykel player of the match, Madison Brown, the wing attack star performer for the West Coast Fever. She was really integral in getting onto the circle edge and getting those good balls into Caitlin Bassett, who was shooting at 100% up until the third quarter, and Liana De Bruin from the Southern Steel, who first came back as mum. She picks up the 1 point, and she is now sidelined with Leslie Murdoch.
Well, Liana, first of all, congratulations. What a match.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was pretty tough out there, but I'm happy with the win.
What about your body? How's it come through?
I've made it, so happy to make the first game as a mum back, but yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Now, the intensity, we've got to talk about that third quarter when the Fever came back and really ramped it up and took it back to you.
Yeah, I know, they must have changed something, and I think we sort of didn't adapt to what they've changed to, but we sorted it out in the fourth quarter, which I'm quite happy about.
You certainly did sort it out. Now, you've played both with and against this crowd here. How much does it lift? How much does it count when you really need it?
Yeah, I must say, when they for you, just want to give them more ball, to obviously cheer a bit harder, but yeah, pretty cool to play down here.
Yeah, pretty shattering news at the end of that match also with Danica Wipiiti going down. Any news on her so far?
No, I actually haven't heard anything, but yeah, she'll be all right. She's a tough chick.
Overall, though, the team performance today, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we still threw a lot of ball away, and definitely something to work on.
Well, all the best, though. It's been a booming start for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, as Liana De Bruin here said, I actually can't look, Natalie. You hope that Danica Wipiiti hasn't done a knee. She went down pretty heavily and looked pretty sore at the end of that game.
She did, and it's just sort of landing. She's going up for the ball, so it was really, really disappointing, and that's usually, it's not a heavy contest that you can get injured that badly.
But she, up until then, was in good form. Considering she's just come back, as Liana De Bruin has, they were both in pretty solid form.
Yeah, they were. Wipiiti sort of drifted off a little bit in the third quarter, but then came back in that last. But De Bruin was outstanding, and she's going to be a key and integral part of that defensive end for the Steel this year.
Yeah, well, the Steel got their first points on the board, and let's take a look and see what other games are to be played of the round. Well, Mystics and Thunderbirds. Mystics come away with the points, beating the Thunderbirds by 3. The Steel up on the Fever, and the Firebirds Swifts later on tonight. And Monday night netball, yes, it's the Tactics up against the Pulse in Christchurch, and what will probably be the biggest game of the round, Nelly. I'm really looking forward to that one. Magic up against the Vixens. The Vixens, though, possibly with no Corletto, that could be the difference.
Well, I think so. And with Jodie Brown playing for the Magic, the experience there might outshine the Vixens.
Okay, well, that's it from us at Stadium Southland, but stay tuned. Monday night netball tomorrow night, a double header. Make sure you stick around for that. We'll see you soon.
The Sky Netball team styled by Ketski.